So really, if you have most of your savings in your house and your retirement, your IRA type account, that could be a 401k or a traditional IRA, but anything where you didn't pay taxes going in and will pay taxes coming out, you've now made that a very difficult thing to leave your kids. So now people are kind of waking up to that and realizing that there are just better alternatives that are better inheritance vehicles. And I mean, number one on that list, I mean, just unarguably is always going to be life insurance. Investing. And there's just so many things you can do in there that can become tax-free to your kids. You can borrow against them. Some of them have life benefits and things that can take care of you. There's just so many wonderful things you can do with life insurance that your IRA can't do, that it's not the same when you start thinking about inheritance. And it's not that IRAs are suddenly bad, but it's just you're now suddenly bad for inheritance.
Sure. So as you're building out, like what you said, legacy. So when you think of legacy and what you want to leave behind for your family, what's going to show up for our family after we've worked so hard to get there. So it's become very interesting. So are you discovering through the estate planning process that we have to start updating beneficiaries and talk about other solutions now? I mean, is it almost like you have to enhance and amend maybe the initial plan? Are you seeing that with your clients?
Well, another thing to keep in mind, because of the 10-year distribution cycle now on the IRAs, they're going to go out in those 10 years. They're going to be taxed to your kids over those 10 years. You don't have the same level of control that you once had on the distribution for your IRAs. So it used to be you could do all kinds of creative provisions over time, knowing that they could just roll it into their own IRAs, and it was easy. It changed the planning substantially. It made my job a lot more difficult for people who are IRA heavy, because the tax consequences of putting it in the trust are even worse than the tax consequences of putting it out. So now you're pretty much limited to that 10-year distribution plan that the government came up with instead of a distribution plan you would have had. Whereas if your money was in life insurance, for example, you could do a distribution plan over time where you're doing all kinds of creative things for your kids. You can, do small amounts every month, every quarter, every year. You could do, different bites at the apple where they get large amounts several different years. There's just so many options you have that you no longer have if your primary investing was in an IRA.
So is there anything right now that you think we should still discuss on Secure 2.0?
Sure. So I'm not a financial advisor, so I shouldn't be going too deeply into what you should do with your money. I'm more about what looks good for inheritance, what makes sense for inheritance. But it's definitely a good idea to speak to the people you trust. If you do have heavy IRAs, talk to your financial advisor about the possibility of maybe backdoor Rothing some of it, maybe moving some of it over to insurance products. If you've got more than what you need for your own retirement sitting in IRAs and you're looking at it as inheritance, it may be time to look at converting something.